On this show of Ride the Line, we are talking about why the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. We're breaking down Thursday night football, our best bets for Sunday, and then some NBA props. And this is Ride the Line, the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. My name is Tanner Curran, certified G, bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. In this right here, this is G Money Grant Mitchell. We are breaking it all down for you today. Best bets and picks across the board. You can't teach that. Bada boom, man. The people in the room. G Money Grant Mitchell, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. The weather's starting to get a little colder, which is a good thing for me. Summer, I sweat very easily. I know that's not a very attractive thing to say, but I'm happy that the weather's calming down a little. We're getting to that. We had the sports equinox yesterday. Really, we're getting on a good time for the sporting calendar. So I'm doing pretty good overall. Can't complain.
The sports equinox overall was kind of trash. The baseball game definitely carried the load last night, going 18 innings, I believe. Just a crazy game with Freddie Freeman. I watched that whole thing. NFL, not a great night for your Washington Commanders. Basketball, there was a big slate. Hockey, there was only 2 games. So it wasn't the best sports equinox of all time. I think the sports equinox, they should try to time it up on like a Sunday. We get a full slate of football.
Also, with the sports equinox, I feel like it used to be a little more special. I feel like it used to be more. It was like once every few years. I feel like we had it. Now it does seem like we get a couple of these per year. I don't know if I'm off in that.
I don't know. I mean, I think when it comes down to it, it's baseball, right? So it's the World Series and what night that World Series game is scheduled. So maybe there's multiple sports equinoxes, I would say, like if you would get a World Series game on a Monday and then a Thursday. But I think besides that, you'd only get it the one time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But we do kind of have a sports equinox on Thursday because we have Maction. So
your favorite.
I guess I got to stay away from the Maction. Those kids cannot play. I bet on Charlotte versus North Texas last week. I think I bet on Charlotte to cover against North Texas. They were in a position to cover going the fourth quarter. They gave up 27 points in the fourth quarter. I don't even know how they were in the game. I did hedge a little bit and take North Texas to cover the original spread, which was like 20-1 at one point in the game. So it still worked out for me. But if I didn't do that, it would have been a heartbreaking loss in mid-major college football. And I just can't handle that.
Is that the game where the kid had 608 yards?
Yeah, they overall they had like 750, 800 yards of offense. You know what's crazy now? In Massachusetts, so college player props in Massachusetts, you can't do that. But you can bet on like yards, like just team total receiving yards, team total yards throughout the game, how many first downs the team's going to get. Like they really have ramped up the team props, which is kind of insane. So I was debating betting Charlotte over like 310 and a half team total yards. Ended up hitting. But those bets are just, imagine getting those in like the SEC. I can't wait to bet those.
Yeah, that story about that kid, by the way, I don't know if you've seen it. That's wild. He didn't play quarterback in high school. Either he didn't play quarterback or he didn't play football at all. Walks onto the team, and now as a true freshman is throwing for 608 yards in a game.
I didn't know he never played football before. I knew he was a true freshman, but I didn't know that. That's insane. He's pretty good then.
I don't know if he'd never played football or he never played quarterback, but at the very least, he had never played quarterback before.
I think it might have been quarterback. Listening back to the broadcast, I feel like it might have been quarterback,
okay.
But that's still very impressive. He's really good. And, big teams are ready to poach him, I'm sure, after what he's done so far this season.
Yeah, and the guy he worked with has worked with I wish I could remember. He's worked with Cam Ward. He's worked with a bunch of other. Cam Ward was a 0-star recruit coming out of high school. Like this quarterback coach apparently has a history of doing this. So maybe that guy's just like the GOAT in all of this.
Cam Ward's playing like a 0-star recruit too right now. He looks trash. There's a lot of quarterbacks. It's amazing that we can't find 32 good quarterbacks in the NFL. We just can't do it. Even backups, like you should have 64 good quarterbacks. There should be 64 good quarterbacks on the face of the earth. There's just not.
Well, it does come down to system too. If we had this conversation a couple of years ago, we would have said Mac Jones wasn't good. We would have said Sam Darnold wasn't good. Now they look good because they're in good systems.
Mac Jones is good enough. Like I'm not going to sit here and say Mac Jones is God's gift of football. He's not Drake May. Drake May is God's gift of football. I love Drake May.
I told you were down on him. I told you Drake May's nice.
He's interesting, right? Because he's not flashy. Like there's absolutely no aura there, but like he plays with Stephon Diggs and like Cardi B's on the sidelines, and there's a little more aura there because of that. So I think like Stephon Diggs is actually bringing Drake May out of his just normal North Carolina shell.
Could be. He might be MVP of the league right now.
He probably is after Pat Mahomes' game last night.
Yeah, it's probably him. I think it's him, Darnold, Jonathan Taylor, and Mahomes probably.
Pat is plus 150. Josh is plus 400. Drake is plus 450. So we're going to talk about the Chiefs a little bit here. But before we do that, make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast, like, share, do it all. Let's blow these episodes up. Comment who you're taking on Sunday. Let us know if you're tailing or fading us. And also check out WSN.com. Grant, tell them why they need to check out the World Sports Network, which is the best sports network out there.
Yeah, well, with the sports equinox and all the upcoming days of sports ahead, myself, Tanner, and the team of experts over there at WSN.com, we are sharing picks from anywhere you want. We got major market picks, some money lines, same game parlays, player props. That's NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, literally anything you want and beyond. You will get it there at WSN.com. Personally, I pick against the spread in every single NFL game of the season. Only had one losing week so far, back in the green again last week, putting out NBA props. We also, big one here, also have sportsbook promo codes. So things such as Fanatics, which has a really cool deal. Fanatics, you can get up to $2,000 in fan cash. Fan cash is the stuff where you can use it at the Fanatics Sportsbook, or you can use it on their website and purchase some memorabilia. We've got it for Bet365, BetMGM, FanDuel, of the whole bunch of sportsbooks over there. So bottom line, if you are into sports betting in any shape or form, WSN.com is the place to be.
Yeah, for sure. So Super Bowl odds, we are breaking those down right now really quickly here, but the Chiefs back up to the Super Bowl favorites at plus 500. Then you have the Lions at plus 700, Packers plus 750, Bills plus 800, Eagles plus 950, Colts 11-1, and then the Rams 11-1. We will let you look for there. But look at the Chiefs. They were just dead. They were down for the count. Nobody believed in them after the first couple weeks of the season. Really rough start. Rashee Rice comes back. By the way, the ESPN graphic last night really breaking down his criminal background. I mean, that was pretty flawless. These leagues and teams have really dived, or the networks have dived into the criminal backgrounds this year on the broadcast.
But I appreciate it. Honestly, I will say that, because if Rashee Rice is not a millionaire, if Rashee Rice is a regular dude, he's sitting in a county jail right now. He's not playing football.
No, definitely not. But that's the case with a lot of these situations. But anyways, Chiefs 5-1, Grant. Does that interest you at all? And are they going back to the Super Bowl? Because you were a guy that was trying to say that the Chiefs were done this year.
Yeah, I predicted 10-7 for the Chiefs, and I thought I was a genius at the start of the year. Now, they're still only 5-3, so 10-7 is definitely still in the realm of reality, but they have won 5 of their last 6, and they are doing it in pretty convincing fashion. They just seem to have a belief, a swagger on offense that they didn't have last year. All of last year, something felt out of sync. I don't feel that way about them this year. Now, ironically, their defense, I know they only gave up 7 points to the Commanders, but they were letting them move the football. It was weird mistakes, red zone, fourth down, not being able to convert. Their defense still doesn't look great. Now, Spagnuolo, I got a lot of respect for. Chris Jones is a great player. McDuffie's a great player. So you probably trust them when they get to the playoffs. Right now, they still don't look amazing. So would I bet them at 5-1 to win the Super Bowl? No. But do I think that over these last few weeks, they've gone a long way to make me believe that they can win the Super Bowl yet again? Yes, I would definitely say that.
I don't really want to see them in the Super Bowl. I did bet them to win the AFC, so I'm not going to complain if they're there. But I just don't see a world where I trust Josh Allen, and we do have Bills, Ravens, or not Bills, Chiefs this weekend. We had Ravens, Bills earlier this season. Obviously, that was kind of the death of the Ravens. But, I don't see a world where Josh Allen beats Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. I don't see a world where Lamar Jackson, if he ever comes back, the man's high eating chicken in the middle of the night. Did you see that video circulating?
Let's not, we don't know what he was, but yes, I saw him getting some street food.
He shouldn't be out at 2 a.m. getting street food anyways.
He's a man of the people.
He should be recuperating and resting up and not bailing on his teammates. But I don't see him going into Arrowhead and winning the game. So I just really am concerned right now that nobody in the AFC can beat the Chiefs. Maybe the Colts, but the Colts strike me as a team like the Vikings last year, who were, really good, and they were a trendy team, but they're not really a legitimate contender when we get into the big game.
Yeah, I definitely, the Colts are just so weird, dude. I mean, they're 11-1 to win the Super Bowl. That puts them 6th, and frankly, that's where they should be. They're averaging the most points per possession this century. They're just blowing every number you can think of out of the water. But like you said, do I trust a Daniel Jones-led team to go into the playoffs and do something? And their defense isn't great either. It's about average. It's just their offense has been so extraordinary. But do I trust a team like that to go win 4 straight playoff games? No chance.
No, they're 100% the Vikings of last season. Like Darnold, good enough to win games in the regular season. I'm never going to trust Darnold to win the Super Bowl. It's not going to happen. You can't win. You can't win a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold. You maybe can win a Super Bowl with a guy like Baker Mayfield, maybe, and that's like the bottom tier of where you can win a Super Bowl. So I don't trust the Colts one bit. Looking at the division standings right now, we got some value here with the Chiefs -125, Denver +240, Chargers +330. They were a trendy pick for like literally 1 week there, and then they've fallen apart. And then the Raiders obviously down. They're not winning anything this year. But the Broncos in first place right now at 6-2, Chargers 5-3, Chiefs 5-3. In the division, Grant, who do you like?
I mean, I would probably still take the Chiefs. The Broncos, I can't believe the Broncos are 6-2. I thought they were going to have a regression year as well. I thought it was going to be a down year for most of the AFC West, and I just totally got that wrong.
And the Broncos should be 7-1 right now. When you look at that Colts game.
The Colts game, yeah.
They should be 7-1, which is crazy to think about. And Bo Nix isn't even playing that good. So,
yeah, that's the weird part of it all, too. He really is not. Now, the fourth quarter of the Giants game and then the Cowboys game, he looked good. But it's still been a bad year for Bo Nix overall, and they are 6-2. So I guess that shows maybe what type of team they can be.
R.I.P. Cam Scatterville. Too.
Yes.
R.I.P.
Did you see Big Dom brought pizza and cheesesteaks to the hospital for him and his family?
A little viral moment there. Like, come on, man. Like, I think it's really cool. Don't get me wrong. But, like, I feel like that was for the cameras a little bit.
I think they leaked it definitely for the cameras, but it still was the right thing. I don't think he leaked it. I think he's genuinely just a good dude. So he has my respect for that.
They had to get him back in good graces after he literally punched a referee. Was it a ref or a player last year?
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember what you're talking about.
You remember the fight on the sidelines when he got involved and then Big Dom got suspended.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I forgot all about that.
Big Dom, I don't know if he's that good of a guy, Grant. He's an enforcer. I mean, I like Big Dom. Don't get me wrong. I do. I'm a Big Dom guy. But I think they had to leak the story to get him back in the good graces of the people.
Well, it worked. I liked it.
Yeah, I did too. So moving on here, Grant, we are breaking down Thursday night football. Big game on Thursday night. We got your picks and props for the matchup. The Baltimore Ravens going against the Miami Dolphins. Lamar Jackson again eating street food in the middle of the night, going up against the Miami Dolphins, who are coming off a big win against the Atlanta Falcons. Never would have expected that. The spread is currently 7.5. Lamar Jackson, that shows that he is probably going to play in this game. Last week, the spread originally was built in for him to play. He did not play. They found a way to win. Baltimore is still favored to win their division right now, which is crazy in my mind. So, Grant, can I interest you in Ravens -7.5 if Lamar Jackson is on the field on the road against the Miami Dolphins?
Well, I got to say, first and foremost, so I bet the Dolphins at, I think it was +6.5. We both did on the show. I think we took them at +6.5 against the Falcons. Of course, they blow them out of the water. I owe the Dolphins such a massive thanks because about 5/6 of the remaining people in a survivor pool I'm in, I'd say 5 out of 6 people either picked the Falcons to beat the Dolphins or they picked the Bengals to beat the Jets. And of course, both of those teams lost. So I'm still alive 8 weeks into the season. I had an easy one. I had saved the Bills. I just burned it last week. I had a lot of guarantees. I still have the Chiefs left. Still have the Eagles. I still have the Lions. I still have the Bills. I still have the Colts. So I was like, let me burn one of these just to get a guarantee. So I'm indebted to the Dolphins. Looking ahead to this matchup here, the Ravens did something last week, which it stood out to me because it was this exact same thing that happened last year. They get to the bye week. Defense has been awful. Bye week passes, and then all of a sudden the defense is really good. Now I get it. Caleb looked terrible. He was moving the ball, but his decision-making, his accuracy, that play at the end of the game where like they try to QB sneak it without a timeout and they don't get it. So they get back up. It takes about 40 seconds for them to get ready to go. They snap the ball. Caleb stands there and throws it sidearm for no reason and misses a wide open receiver in the end zone from 5 yards away. Like that just signifies to me why the problems with Caleb Williams, and that's an issue for Bears fans long term. Even still, can't take away from the Ravens what they did on defense in that game. So the question that I have moving ahead now is, are we following the same script we did last year for the Ravens, where terrible defense, you get to the bye week, you do figure it out, and moving ahead, you see the changes. Because I've never been worried about Baltimore's offense. Nobody's ever been worried about Baltimore's offense. It's the fact that any team seemingly could score any amount of points they wanted on them. This was Baltimore's worst defense in franchise history through the first 7 weeks of the season. So I guess in this game, short week, I know it's on the road, but it's not a very high-powered opponent. If they come out there, they hold them to like 14, 17 points, then I'm starting to think, okay, maybe I have to look at this Baltimore team differently.
You just need Lamar Jackson on the field. Like, I am concerned about the offense. I'm concerned about turnovers. I'm concerned about how Lamar Jackson is going to be when he gets back on the field. I'm concerned about the defense. I have a lot of concerns with the Baltimore Ravens. And again, the script is following a very similar trajectory to last season. But like when you just look at the Ravens, they're one Caleb Williams pass away from losing another game, and then pretty much season's over. I mean, your season's almost over right now, basically. That's the bottom line. So I think backs against the wall, I think they'll find a way to cover the spread. I don't trust the Dolphins. It's mind-blowing that Mike McDaniel still has a job in my mind. And it's mind-blowing that they're still able to come out and win a game like they did last week where nobody expected them to. Now, Kirk Cousins was terrible. The Atlanta Falcons are not a good football team, but it's still surprising that the Dolphins can come out and win a game in dominant fashion like they did. I wouldn't want to trust the Dolphins against anybody outside of the division with 7.5 points, like high-powered offense with the Ravens if Lamar's on the field. I still think the defense is going to be trash for Baltimore. I think Lamar's going to make mistakes coming off an injury, but you get back to run the football and look like you did on offense in week 1 against the Buffalo Bills. You set yourself up pretty well here. So I would take the Ravens -7.5. I don't love it, but you probably get a better in-game number. I'd rather get 6.5, but I'll take 7.5.
Yeah, because it's at 7.5, I would actually take the Dolphins. Same thing. I'm not gonna bet it personally. If I'm forced to give a pick here, I would actually take the Dolphins side of it. And I guess kind of to go against some of the things you said. Short week. It's not that the Ravens can't play in Miami. It's that the Dolphins can't play in Baltimore. It gets colder. Tua can't throw the football. They don't have to worry about that. They're in their home stadium. Short week, as confident as they've been probably this entire season. Like you said, with Lamar coming off this injury, I don't know how bad it was. I know that it caused him to miss a few weeks. Probably not going to be the sharpest that he's ever been before. Miami moved the ball last week. I just think it's a low-scoring game. I think it's like a 24-17 sort of game, and that means the Dolphins cover.
Yeah, and my thing is I can't take the Dolphins because I trust what the Ravens have more, but I understand where you're coming from with that. I just don't know if this team, you talk about, this is the most motivated they've been or have the most momentum they've had all season. That could be true, but like, I don't know how they won last week. I don't know how they can win at all. They're not good. Mike McDaniel, I feel like Mike McDaniel is going to keep his job next season.
That's what all the reports say.
Yeah, like I feel like they like Mike McDaniel there, and I just don't know if that's the answer. I feel like this is the Billy Napier of the NFL. Like you got time to get rid of him, but you extend him. That's the vibe I'm getting with Miami. I just don't think he's good enough to lead a team. And I do trust Harbaugh to get a connected football team on a mission to go in and win a football game and make your march toward the playoffs.
Speaking of Billy Napier, by the way, the college coaching carousel is going to be nuts. At Florida, LSU, Penn State, bunch of big jobs open. Might get more by the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely get more. You get a few more in there with the teams disappointed. I want to see Lane Kiffin leave. Like that would be really cool to me. I think Lane Kiffin at Florida would be awesome. At Penn State, I'd like to see, I don't know, Kenny Dillingham, something like that.
You want to hear a hot take I have?
What?
I think Cliff Kingsbury goes to LSU.
It wouldn't surprise me if he takes a college job. Like he's too good of an OC to not be a head coach.
Yeah. But also, I don't think he's an NFL head coach at this moment in time.
No, he's a coordinator in the NFL. He's a college head coach, though. So I think that's a good take. Somebody's going to get that big LSU job. I can't wait to see.
Yeah. Joe Brady, maybe he's in the mix there as well.
Yeah, Joe Brady. Yeah, he should be. I mean, he's had a meteoric rise, and he was in college before this. So totally agree there. But, Grant, looking at the props in this game, we got Ravens, Bills. We got Tua, Lamar. We got Derrick Henry. Where are you leaning for the props?
I'm going to take the Lamar Jackson under. Again, just kind of leaning into the narrative that I do think it's going to be a little bit of a slower game. Lamar, after missing some time, don't expect him to be as sharp as he could be. And even when he was playing. He wasn't putting up monster numbers. You're getting this line for about 237.5. Well, in week 1 against the Buffalo Bills, when they score 40 points, so the offense was working, Lamar had 209 yards. The next week they score 41. He has 225. He does put up 288 in a loss to the Lions, but that's when they're chasing points. And then he has 147 against the Chiefs. So, I get it. Miami's defense sucks, but Lamar just the way that they run their offense doesn't require him putting up big numbers. Mahomes, the team might rush for 40 yards. So 300 passing yards is actually a very average day for him. It's not even really a great game. He's just asked to do that. The way Lamar is, they ask him, hey, get about 210 yards or so, and then that will put us in position to run our way to victory.
I'm going to take Lamar Jackson to go over 35.5 passing or rushing yards there. I agree with what you were saying about him before there, but when it comes to the rushing, I think, you got to get him involved. He's coming off an injury, which is the concerning part, and I think you're getting a really good number because of that. But Lamar Jackson has been able to protect his body throughout his time in the NFL. He's done a really good job of it, and for the amount he runs, and 35.5 yards is such a low number here. And who knows, this is a Thursday night game. It's a short week. You may need Lamar Jackson to run the ball. These are must-win games. And when it comes to the Miami Dolphins, they give up some of the most rushing yards in the league, 145 yards per game. So I would lean over on Jackson for 35.5. I'd also take Derrick Henry over 88.5. You're going to hit one of those bets in my mind, but 35.5 is such a low total for Jackson. Again, coming off an injury on a short week. I'm kind of concerned about that aspect of it, but he may need to run the football in this game because he can't go in and drop this one.
Well, what I would say is we know from Lamar's just history in the NFL, he's not going to get on the field if he's not ready. And I think the Ravens might have tried to pressure him into playing by listing him as a full participant. Sportsbooks had the Ravens favored by a touchdown. If they had known Lamar wasn't playing, I'm positive the Bears would have been favored, even though they ended up losing that game. But I think Lamar basically told him, do your worst. I'm not playing in this game if I'm not ready. And we've seen him do that before in his career. So kind of to your point here, you are getting a low number, but I don't think he's actually going to be feeling the effects of the injury.
Yeah, and he's so good at protecting his body. That's the biggest thing with Lamar Jackson. And I know he's coming off an injury, so it's hard to say that. But just overall, for the amount he runs, he's never really taking that many hits. So this year, rushing-wise, he had 70 against the Bills, 13 against the Browns. Obviously did not need to run the football in that game. 35 against the Lions, and then 48 against the Chiefs. So those are all like 6-7 carry games. I think we're going to see that once again. And Miami's defense is not good. I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with the speed of Jackson and the power of Derrick Henry there. So one of those guys is going to have a big night running the football.
So I'll close it out with another rushing prop. I'll go Ollie Gordon over 17.5 rushing yards. 10 carries for 46 yards last week. I get it. Dolphins were up big in that game. They could afford to go lower down the pecking order and give their guys some looks, but he did carry it 5 times the week before. I know he only had 11 yards. It was against the Browns. Browns have, maybe the best run defense in the NFL. It's not the same with the Ravens. He has a 9 for 38 against the Bills on the schedule. He's just a guy that you've seen him get some sort of some random, almost looking increases in usage. And I just think that Devon Achan's not a running back, really. He's a small receiver who lines up in the backfield. I just think Gordon, the way things start to play out, I think he'll start to average about 6 to 8 carries a game. And if that happens, getting over 17.5 yards really should not be a tall ask.
No, definitely not, especially against a defense like the Baltimore Ravens right now. That's the bottom line. You don't know what you're getting with Baltimore. So I like the pick, Grant. I think it's a good one.
Thank you. I will say I took one of these ones we talked about on the show. I took Bill Krosky-Merritt over 3.5 receiving yards. He had 0. The Commanders' leading receiver was Jeremy McNichols. In the whole game, he had 5 receptions for like 64 yards. Like, come on, we couldn't throw one of those to Bill.
Yeah, they got beaten into the ground. They got obliterated. Not a good night. I took them to cover like 11.5 at one point in the game because I had a parlay that ended with the Chiefs. So I'm like, I'll try to middle it. And it looked good for a period of time, and then it just suddenly did not look good at all.
Yeah. Not getting the points early with the Debo interception. Only having 7 points going in halftime, considering how many miscues the Chiefs had, that was going to be tough to recover from.
Definitely. Well, people, it is that time in the week for our best 5 spread picks. Grant picks 5. I pick 5. Sometimes we mix, sometimes we don't. But we are giving you the picks that you need to know in the NFL. So, Grant, without further ado, the mic is yours. Week 9 is here. What's your first favorite spread pick?
Well, I know that you're gonna like this one because of the team. I don't know if you're gonna love the pick, and I'll be honest, I don't know if I love the pick simply because I love it too much. It terrifies me how much I like it. I think the whole world likes it. I think 90% of the handle is going to be on this. I'm going to take the Patriots at -4.5 against the Falcons. Flatly, the Patriots are a lot better than 4.5 points better than the Falcons are. Now, I get it. Michael Penix Jr., Drake London probably going to be coming back for this game, but what does that really matter? You know, we see Penix have the career high 313, and then he goes on the road and drops an absolute dud against the Niners, and they score 10 points as a team. The Falcons are just so strange because they can hit a high ceiling, but they just rarely get there. And this is the best defense they've had in years, yet that has not solved their problem. You've always thought, they're 7-10, 8-9 team. They figure out the defense. They'll be a playoff team. They finally done that, and now the offense takes a step back. They just cannot play a complete game. They can't play complementary football. Meanwhile, the Patriots, one of the hottest teams in the NFL. Drake May, one of the hottest players in the NFL. Now, they have been beating up on trash cans mostly, but they've been blowing these teams out, so they've been doing what they should, and they did beat the Bills in that mix as well. They're going to slip up at some point. They're just a lot better than the Falcons are. They are the home team in this game. The whole world's betting it, but I'm going to be a member of the whole world. I got to take that.
I'm in the same boat. I also took this spread pick. My biggest fear with the Patriots is they have to slip up at some point against a bad opponent. And the Falcons are not a bad opponent. They're like a mediocre opponent. They could come out and be great. As you were saying, they could be bad. Obviously, they have a win over the Buffalo Bills this season, and they probably looked better against the Bills than the Patriots did. I think the Patriots relied on some more turnovers from Buffalo. Buffalo didn't look good against either team, but both teams are capable of beating good teams, but both teams can also slump down. We saw it with the Patriots early in the season against the Raiders. I don't think that's the same Patriots team right now, but they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Drake May looks fantastic. Stephon Diggs is playing great. The receiving core, Booty's awesome. Like they are good. Awesome. Booty's awesome. The booty is good. They're a really good football team right now. And I know they're beating up on trash cans, as you were saying, but it's still, they're winning football games and they're covering the number. This is one where I think it's going to be a tougher matchup. I don't think it's going to look as clean cut. It might be a late touchdown to get them over the hump, but you have no choice but to take the Patriots this week until they lose a football game. So I will continue to bet them. I will lay the points with the Patriots. I don't love it, but it is one of my picks for the week just because you can't go against it. Last week I was saying honestly that Cleveland had a chance to beat them because the upset has to come at some point. If you're the Patriots, you're going to slip up. They haven't slipped up right now, plus 110 to win the AFC East. They're for real right now.
I actually saw a stat which really spoke to what Drake May and that offense is doing. By the way, with a defensive head coach, Mike Vrabel is a defensive guy, so I don't know if this is Drake May being excellent. I don't know if it's Josh McDaniels, but whatever they're doing up there, it's working. I saw a stat that since Schwartz took over the Browns defense, Drake May and the Pats passing offense had the second best success rate of any team that had faced that Browns defense. Every quarterback, every year, just to speak to what Drake May is doing.
It's kind of crazy to think about this, but there's a realistic chance that the Patriots are the top seed in the AFC. Very realistic chance.
I mean, their schedule, and again, I'm not using this to shame them because they're blowing these teams out, but their schedule is very easy. So to your point there, I mean, you have the Bills left. It's at home, though, and you did already beat them. You have at Ravens. You don't know what type of game that's going to be. And then after that, your toughest games are the Falcons and the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I mean, figure you split between the Falcons and the Buccaneers, so you're a 3-loss team there. You're going to beat the Jets. You're going to beat the Bengals. You should beat the Giants. The Bills, you probably drop a game. You split between the Bills and the Ravens, or maybe you drop both of them, and then you beat the Jets and the Dolphins. Like worst case scenario, you're looking at 1, 2, 3 more losses, probably worst case. So you're 12-5.
Yeah, worst case 12-5. Think about that.
That's very impressive, even though they're playing against cupcakes. And again, you get a little momentum, you get a home playoff game in Gillette. You just never know what's going to happen with the Patriots. So I like the pick here. I think they're going to continue to roll, but it's going to not look as pretty as it has in past weeks. Drake May's got to slow down at some point.
49ers -2.5 at the New York Giants. That's going to be the next one on my card here. Look, Jackson Dart has really shown some flash this year. He's in that boat. I always say this with rookie quarterbacks. I really don't care if they make mistakes. I care if they show me flash, because the coaching staff's job is to help you refine those areas, improve on your weaknesses. If you can show me you have the ceiling, we'll raise the floor and we'll build you up. Jackson Dart's shown the ceiling, absolutely, and the floor hasn't even been that low so far. But when you do lose Cam Scatterbo, when you lose Malik Neighbors, when you have the second worst run defense in the NFL going against Christian McCaffrey, I don't know if Brock Purdy's playing. I don't know if Mac Jones is playing. I don't know who's playing for the 49ers, but I know they are. Whatever they have over there is better than what the Giants have. And if the Giants' biggest weakness is run defense going against Christian McCaffrey with George Kittle out there being essentially another tackle, I think the 49ers will just control this game, kind of be like a boa constrictor. They're just going to squeeze the life out of the Giants, and might be 10-7 at halftime, might end 28-13.
Yeah, I like it. It's not on my card. I'm a little concerned about what the 49ers did last week. Christian McCaffrey really dropped the ball in fantasy football last week. Only had 9 points. He had like 3 points throughout the game. They were not able to run the ball effectively. They were playing from behind. You can't do that here. The 2.5 points is really interesting. I thought this spread would be like 3.5 because the Giants are good. They have a great defense. They have a really good front seven. But you lose your running back now. Jackson Dart is a rookie quarterback. You just don't know what you're going to get there. So it's a little of a trap line for me in my mind. I would at least make it 3. And I think this line will get to 3. I think this is one where you see like 90% of the bets and handle on that side. But I like it. I wouldn't want to take the Giants, but the line it's an interesting number to me.
All right. What else you got?
So my next pick here, I am going to go with the Los Angeles Rams -13.5 against the New Orleans Saints. The Rams are at home here. You have no choice but to take the Rams in this spot. The Saints have made the call. Tyler Shaw is going to be the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. And that's how you say it, right? Shuck. Okay. He's so not relevant. I don't even know how to say his last name, but he came in last week and looked terrible, threw a pick, was not really good last week.
He had a QBR of 7.
He's terrible. He's terrible. Shuck, it doesn't matter. Shao, you could say his name however the hell you want to. He's not a good quarterback. I don't know why they made the call. Spencer Rattler, and you know what? Tip my cap to Spencer Rattler. The dude was playing okay football. He wasn't great. He had a rough week. The Tampa Bay game did not go great for him. It wasn't as bad as the week before, obviously. But you have a better chance of winning with Spencer Rattler, and neither of those guys are your future. So it's just a really interesting decision. The Rams are a team that can put up points. Obviously, they're going to be able to just run the Saints off the field. New Orleans defense doesn't blitz a lot. They just sit back. I think this passing game for the Rams is going to pick them apart, and 13.5. And I don't like laying big numbers like this. Do you trust the quarterback there in New Orleans to score 21 points? Like, I don't.
Yeah, so I'll be honest. I didn't know they had said that Shuck was going to be starting this game. If it was Rattler, I wouldn't take it. Shuck is horrible, awful, trash. I don't know how he was drafted. I don't know how he was drafted in the second round. The Saints are a horrible, horrible franchise. That right there is one of the worst mistakes they've ever made. And the fact that Kellen Moore is going to start, he kind of has no choice. You draft a quarterback in the second round. We've got to see him at some point, especially if it's not working with Rattler. But I don't know what they expected to happen there. Spencer Rattler was not the reason the offensive line was blocking poorly. Spencer Rattler is not the reason the receivers were dropping passes. He wasn't the reason they couldn't run the football. Shuck's going to get all of the same treatment, except he is genuinely awful. So, yes, if he is starting, take the Rams at -29. They're going to blow the Saints off the field in this game.
Yeah, Rattler had one bad game against the Bears, threw 3 picks. Last week, he was 15-21 for 136, completed 71% of his passes, only averaged 6.5 yards per attempt there, had to pick. But, he's played well. Spencer Rattler has earned a job as a lifetime backup in the NFL with how he's played this season. You trust him as a backup. Obviously, you don't want to get to your backup quarterback. Season's probably done at that point. But you should – I get why you're doing it if you think Shuck is the future of your team, but he's not the future. He's terrible. And I'll take Spencer Rattler all day long over him. So 13.5 points for the Rams with Shuck at quarterback. No problem.
Detroit Lions minus 8.5 versus the Minnesota Vikings. I see you shaking your head. I think that means you're on this one as well. JJ McCarthy this season completing about 58% of his passes, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I get it. He's in his second year, but he got to play like a game and a half or game and 3 quarters, whatever it was. And then he comes out with an injury. Now he's done. It's Carson Wentz is in there. Carson Wentz playing with a torn labrum and like a dislocated shoulder, just so that JJ McCarthy can rest his ankle. Carson Wentz might not be a very good quarterback, but guy's tough as nails. I couldn't believe he said that. Like, I will play through these injuries just so you can heal from yours. But JJ McCarthy coming back to this game, going against one of the most high-powered offenses in the NFL, in modern NFL history. Also, the Lions at home coming off of a bye week. They're just going to make McCarthy's life hell. No chance the Vikings can keep pace with the Lions on offense. And Dan Campbell wants to run up the score. That's how he gets his team feeling good about itself. And they've been stewing. They lost to the Chiefs in primetime Sunday Night Football. They've been on a bye week. They've been anxious to get out on the field. I got all the respect in the world for the Vikings defense, but I could easily see them scoring 40 points. And that means that McCarthy's got to lead them to like 32, 33. That's not happening.
No, and how the Lions looked on defense against the Buccaneers was a sign that like they're back. They're playing really good football. I think this is the true favorite in the NFC right now. I think they're that good. So when I look at the Detroit Lions, I am on the spread here. Again, I don't think that the Vikings can keep up with them and attract me. I think they're going to run the score up. When you look at just J.J. McCarthy overall, he's had one moment this year, and everybody thought he was kind of a good quarterback after having that one moment. Didn't stay healthy. This is just a really tough spot to walk back into if you're J.J. McCarthy in the Minnesota Vikings. And we talk about how good Brian Flores is as a defensive coordinator and how good this Vikings defense has been. They've been trash. They got lit up against the Chargers last time out.
The Eagles.
Yeah, and the Eagles. Like, they've gotten lit up. And the Eagles, they played them a little tougher, at least. I'll say that. Like, I think they covered that number against the Eagles. Thought it was a close loss. It was like a 4 point loss.
Yeah, I don't remember what the line was exactly, but yeah, I don't. What was the final score of that game, actually?
It was close.
No, the Eagles covered, but it was close.
28-22. Yeah, so it was like 6.5, 5.5, 4.5, I think, that game. Might have been 3.5. But anyways, that doesn't matter. When I look at Brian Flores, his defense has been trash, and that's the only way you can stay in games. So I just can't see them competing with the Lions. So that is also one of my picks, Grant.
Okay, well, we honestly might have a third in common, so I'll try to pivot here. I'll go with the Bears minus 2.5 against the Bengals. I don't think you would have this one on there. So I famously took the Jets plus 6.5 against the Bengals, and they ended up winning up outright. So I can't say that I didn't see it coming. Now, I didn't see it coming the way that it happened. I didn't see the Jets scoring 39 points, but the fact they did shows me just how grotesque this Bengals defense is. Caleb Williams is in need of some confidence. He's just so wildly inaccurate. His mechanics are really bad. Those are things you can fix in the offseason, but if that change is going to happen, it will be in the offseason. There's also no guarantee it does happen. So he's got to turn around on a short week. Best thing for him going against a defense like this, the Bengals, again, just gave up 39 points to the Jets, allowed them to win their first game of the season. Also, Ben Johnson, he looks terrific. The way that he's able to script games, the plays he's able to come up with, as long as Caleb's not turning the ball over. Chicago's defense, even though it's not great, is a lot better than the Bengals. They also force interceptions at the highest rate in the NFL. I would say Flacco's more likely to throw an interception in this game than Caleb is. And even though you are on the road at minus 2.5, basically you just win and you'll cover the line. So I'll take the Bears in that one.
I like it. I didn't take it. I still have my fears about the Flacco experience with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, obviously, and they get going. I mean, they're really hard to stop. And they should have beat the Jets last week. No excuse to give up, I think, 27 points in the fourth quarter. It was about 27 in that range. So just no excuse. No excuse.
I didn't realize it was that bad. I need to check that.
I think it was. I could be wrong, but I think it was.
It was 23, but I mean, even still, that's crazy.
Yeah, you should never give up 23 points in the fourth quarter. And I know they had Nick Bangold had just passed, and it was funny, not funny, obviously, with that, but Nick Mangold, a lot of people were backing the Jets. Like, they got to win today. They got to win today for Nick Mangold. And then they come out and they get boat raced early in the game and then find a way to come back. So, like, if you were going to see them winning a football game, it would be on that day and in the fashion that they did. But it still should never happen if the Bengals just did what they were supposed to do.
All right, what else you got for us?
Okay, so I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts -3 at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay. Love this play. Is this one of yours?
No, it's not.
Really? Okay, well,
I'm just scared of the Colts, dude. I'm scared. I don't know if it's real or not.
Yeah, but I don't trust the Steelers.
I don't either.
I don't trust. The Steelers have the worst passing defense in the NFL. They're giving up 273 yards per game. Daniel Jones is not going to light you up through the air. Like, the Colts have to be able to run the football with Jonathan Taylor as option number one, work and play action. When it comes to the run game, the Steelers are still middle of the road on defense when it comes to defending the run. They came out really well against the Green Bay Packers. You had the momentum of this is Aaron Rodgers' old team. So it made sense why they started strong. They didn't finish, though. Packers just raced them in the second half, really the fourth quarter, found a way to cover the number in dominant fashion. So when I'm looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers, I trust Aaron Rodgers. I think he's a solid quarterback. He's good enough to win the NFL. He's good enough to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. But the team around him is not very good. They don't do a great job getting their weapons involved. And then defensively, they're just not that skilled. This is not the typical Mike Tomlin Steelers team. And the Colts, they play hard defense. They run the ball well. They play good play act. They do good play action. They don't turn it over. So there's just no reason for me not to take the Colts -3 here. I don't trust the Steelers to get it done.
I would be taking the Steelers if I were picking in this game. Again, I'm just scared. It's such a quick turnaround from a team we didn't expect it from, with a quarterback we didn't expect it from. I'm just a little scared, but I agree with everything you said.
They got to slip up at some point. The Colts do, but I just don't. I mean, there's obviously a world where the Steelers can win the football game. Any team can win on any given Sunday in the NFL, but they have the worst passing defense in the NFL. We think of the Steelers team as like Mike Tomlin, great defense, all that. It's not.
No, it's not. You're absolutely right. And they spend more money than any team in the NFL on their defense, and this is still what they got.
Yep, definitely.
All right. I was giving you the opportunity to take it if you wanted to. You passed up. This is my final pick. I'll take the Chiefs -1.5 at the Buffalo Bills. Not a whole lot to say here. The quarterbacks are always going to be compared to one another, but Allen's going to be compared to Mahomes. Mahomes is not going to be compared to Allen. I think Mahomes is playing better right now. Chiefs offensive line, know they got some movement over there on the left side, but still looked really good. Creed Humphrey hasn't allowed a pressure in like his last however many snaps, something absurd. The guy's just unreal. Chiefs running game, not explosive, but it is effective. They look a lot better with their weapons back, with Worthy, with Rice, with Kelsey on the field. There's just too much speed and there's too much savvy combined with Mahomes' ability to maneuver outside of the pocket, whether that's extending plays, whether that is scrambling. If he gets running now, you got to put a spy on him. You leave the middle of the field open. Kelsey gets in there. There's just too much to defend. And then on the other side of the football, like, I get it. The Chiefs defense hasn't looked great so far, but the Bills run defense in particular has also been very bad. And the Chiefs are very methodical the way they go about games. So if you're going to give them 3-4 yards, they'll take the 3 to 4 and they'll just keep you on the sideline, keep moving the chains. So I get it. It's in Buffalo, but do think the Chiefs are playing better football right now. And yeah, that's pretty much what I got.
So I'm on the other side of this for my final spread pick of the week. I had to do it to you, Grant. It seems like you're forgetting the narrative and how we operate here in the regular season. Josh owns the regular season. Pat owns the playoffs. The Bills are not better than the Chiefs, but they will win the regular season game to build up the hype for the postseason game. And then Patrick Mahomes will win that in heartbreaking fashion for Josh Allen. And then we will have a week of feel sorry for Josh TikToks. And then we will go on to the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl once again. So that's the script. It always plays out like that. Big game. I'm sure Taylor Swift is going to find her way to Buffalo. If she's ever been to Buffalo for a concert, she knows how to get back there. And the Buffalo Bills are going to win this one. Then we'll get the handshake at the end of the game where Pat goes up to Josh, see in the playoffs, and then Josh kind of poops his pants a little bit because he knows he's going to get eliminated. And yeah, I agree with you. I think Chiefs are a better team, I think they should be favored. For some reason, they're not going to win this game, and then they will beat the Bills in the playoffs once again, and Buffalo will continue to have utter failure in the playoffs.
Maybe we'll get one of those Mahomes where he goes up to Allen and complains about the refs and the law. You remember that when he was like basically telling Allen, like, that doesn't count. We were robbed, whatever.
I think that was a legit penalty too, from what I remember.
It might have been, but even still, like Josh had been through so much in the Mahomes series up to that point, and then he finally beats him, and Mahomes goes up to him and he's like saying, dude.
Yeah, I mean, none of these games matter, though. Like, realistically, this game does not matter. The Chiefs can play them in Buffalo. They can play them in Kansas City. They can play them in Iraq. They're still going to beat them in the playoffs. It doesn't matter where that playoff game is. So, like, Pat can go have some fun. Josh, I feel like the weight of the world's on his shoulders in these games. And, like, he's clawing and he's fighting. He's doing everything he can to try to win it. Where Pat's just, like, he just goes out and plays loose because he knows he owns him.
Sean McDermott would love it if the NFL International Series went to the Middle East. That would be Sean McDermott's thing.
It's only a matter of time. And I think because how far it is to fly there, they wouldn't do it. And it doesn't seem like the Saudi Arabians like football that much because they would already have it. I mean, they took WrestleMania from us in the UFC. But if they can, they'll take it. I mean, if they want it, they'll pay the money to get it. That's what I'm hearing.
100%. They've done it with soccer. They've done it with esports. If they want it, they'll get it.
Twitter is the greatest thing ever. Going back to the Sean McDermott, like the whatever, the terrorist comments Sean McDermott made, like Twitter just had a field day with that one.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. So I'm on the other side here, Grant. I just think that the storyline makes more sense if the Bills win. So I'll say the Bills win.
All right, let's close out the show. We got the best NBA player prop betting picks for Tuesday, October 28th, officially starting the second week of the NBA season. This is the Big Five here on Ride the Line. Tanner and I share the top 5 NBA bets of the day, like I said. So I will get us rolling with number 1. Are you familiar, Tanner? Are you familiar with I don't even know if I could say this. Are you familiar with Kalk Ballsex? It's on the Charlotte Hornets. Ryan Kalkbrenner, LaMelo Ball, and Colin Sexton. Kalk, K-A-U-L-K, YouTube. Don't demonetize us. Kalk and Ballsex. I'm going to take Colin Sexton out of that trio. Under 17.5 points. Now, he's been really good as a scorer for them in 3 games. He's gone for 15, 21, and 20. However, he is shooting much more efficiently than anybody probably will in the NBA this season. He's shooting 55% from the field, 50% from 3. Those types of splits just are not attainable over the long run. Also, he's going against the Miami Heat, who are 3rd in field goal percentage allowed, 10th in points allowed per game. So I think he's going to come on down just a little and he will hit the under.
I like it. I'm going to go with VJ Edgecombe under 19.5 points for my pick. He's obviously popped off in 2 or 3 games so far, 34 against the Seas, 26 against the Magic. He only had 15 against the Hornets. But looking at his matchup tonight against Washington, they don't really let teams get to the foul line very easily. So opposing shooting guards have attempted just 2.2 free throws per game over the last 20, 3rd least in the league. I think this is a really good spot for them to kind of quiet Edgecombe. Again, he's fantastic. And the pace of the game, too, the 76ers just played the 10th slowest pace this year in the NBA. Obviously, he's been able to score doing that, but he has to be really efficient. If he doesn't get to the free throw line tonight as well, I think it's going to be really hard for him to go over this number.
Also, Joel Embiid did not play in their game last night, but he will be playing in this one. They're going to pick one of the back-to-backs from the playing. He'll be playing here, so less touches for Edgecombe and also probably an even slower pace. So that definitely makes sense there. I will go over to the big man, the 23-year-old new NBA champion, Chet Holmgren. Now, he's been phenomenal to start the season. He's averaging just about 25 points and 10 rebounds per game on 57% shooting. But I'm going to take him over 1.5 threes because he's been really good as a shooter. He's made 2.7 per game on 42%. He's on the second night of a back-to-back, but that doesn't seem to bother the Thunder players because they're just well-conditioned and they're also very young. He went 2 of 5 from range against the Mavericks last night. The Sacramento Kings have good defensive numbers against 3-point shooters. However, with Chet being a center, that's kind of the one chink in the armor there because Domantas Sabonis wants to be anywhere but on the perimeter. He wants to be under the hoop, camping, waiting for rebounds. He's not going to tread outside there and guard Holmgren. So over 1.5 threes, it's a low line for a guy who's shooting well.
I like it. Again, Grant, we're on the same page. I'm going to go Bam Adebayo under 21.5 points. The Miami Heat play really slow. They got the third slowest tempo in the league since the start of last season, actually. They don't rebound well offensively. It's just not a spot where I think Bam's going to be able to score a lot of points here. When you look at the Charlotte Hornets, it's hard to draw fouls against them as well. So I don't think Bam gets a ton of touches tonight. I think between the pace and just the inability to get to the free throw line for him tonight is going to cause him to go under 21.5 points.
And I will close it out with some plus money here. Plus 155 for Steph Curry to be the top point scorer in his game against the Los Angeles Clippers. So he only had 16 points last night, second night of a back-to-back. However, Curry was scorching hot to start the season, had 23 in the opener, then he goes for 42, then he doubles back with 35 after that. So we've got 2 games of at least 35 points in a 4-game sample size. For him to be the top point scorer, obviously he's got to score more points than everybody on the court. On the Clippers side, Harden had 30 2 games ago. Kawhi had 30 last game. And then I forget who the leader was in the opener, but it was for 23 points, I want to say. So Curry has already been the leading scorer in 50% of his team's games. Would have been, he would have outdone the Clippers' top scorer in 50% of the games as well. He's also in a spot where he's going against one of the oldest teams in the entire NBA. The Clippers roster is just old as dirt. Bradley Beal, James Harden, they don't want to be chasing Steph Curry on the perimeter around these screens. And I think I'm getting this like a coin flip. I think this is probably about a 50-50 chance, but it's for plus 155 odds, which means we have some plus EV there, which is why that comes in at number 5 on the Big 5 for Tuesday.
No, I like that. And Kawhi and James Harden just old. They ain't putting up big games back to back. So I think it's going to take them a while to score 30 again. So I will gladly agree with that one, Grant. It's a good one to finish off the segment there.
Awesome.
So that was Ride the Line. Another great podcast. We gave the people the football picks. We gave people the NBA picks. Thursday night football. We broke it all down for the people. We gave a Super Bowl pick. We do it all here on the podcast. So make sure you guys subscribe to the show. Smash that subscribe button. Like, share, do it all. Check out WSN.com, the World Sports Network. Again, guys, we got picks, promo codes for all the sports books on there. Also the prediction markets as well. So make sure you check that out. Links in the description below. And Grant, why don't you take us out of here on a lovely Tuesday morning?
That's going to do it for this episode of Ride the Line. One final time, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in the comments, let us know what you are betting on, and we will catch you on the next episode of Ride the Line.